Hi, everybody. I'm back again with another episode. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say. Enjoy the cat as long as you see her because she didn't realize we were streaming and she does not like to be on. Oh, you can't. Okay, YouTube can't see her, but I'll duck out of the way. There you go. However, Twitch can see just because of my positioning. I have two cameras. Anyway, I suppose you're wondering why I'm here. For those of you, thank you. For those of you just tuning in, I am currently reading a manuscript that my dad wrote back in 1982. It is the second final version of this manuscript. The first version, which was published already, was the 1977 version, and this is the 1982 version. So I'm reading them to compare to see how they're different and how they're the same. So, for those of you who this is your first episode, I highly recommend going back to the first few chapters so you can get an idea of what's going on. It's probably a good idea. Otherwise, you're like, I think you're in the. That's the other thing. I didn't see how many chapters ahead, how many chapters in total there are, but I believe we're about halfway through, probably a little bit more than half at this point. So, saying that, you'll probably want to go back to the beginning to listen. You can listen to past broadcasts, or if you're on YouTube, you can look at the video uploads that I've done because I removed the other ones because they had no sound. Don't ask. Just always check your sound, people. That's what I'm going to say. Just check your sound. Anyway, without further ado, I'm going to give you chapter 15 of Guardian of the Sword. Swiftly flashed the traitor's sword, swift for the throat the bright blade sought, swifter still moved Aventur's lord, as on the castle walls they fought. Let me try that again. This is the problem with cold reads. That's the other thing. Warning, this is all cold reads. I haven't read any of this before, so it's always going to be like this. If I practice enough times, it would actually eventually sound more natural. Not good. I didn't say good. Just more natural because I'm not a voice actor. I just want to talk and I just want to tell stories. Just kind of, I want to tell these stories because they're fun. For me, anyway. I like telling stories. What can I say? Anyway, let's try this again from the top. Swiftly flashed the traitor's sword, swift for the throat the bright blade sought. Swifter still moved Aventur's lord, as on the castle walls they fought. Up on the wall did Draxen leap, and downward did his long blade gleam. More swiftly upward did the sword did sweep, and the traitor fell to Ilkhanar's stream. From The Death of Draxen by Connell of Asbound. He pitched a clear path across the courtyard, but some Hygerians blundered into Rorik's path in the confusion, but he barely noticed their presence, unless they attempted to fight him. At the top of the wall, Draxen was trying to organize his men to cast javelins down into the Asbalians. Rorik and his men attacked, with Rorik striving mainly to reach Draxen. Suddenly, Rorik and Draxen were standing face to face, and the sounds of battle raged around them. Draxen stood, watching him, calmly, sword lowered. He wore Hygerian dress and armor, probably for the same reason the Asbalians had hacked the spikes from their captured Hygerian gear. Well, traitor, will you come and fight? Draxen's lips curled. So speaks Aventur's pampered cub, who never knew worry about his crops or his lands. I ruled Canlan, the rocky waste, where a good year meant only a easing of poverty. And if you live, O young man of the high words, I hope you will know a day when your people come to you with empty bellies, and you have nothing to give them but words. He raised his sword a little, then sneered. Who knows? If any of the reports I hear are true, your prince may well award me Aventir when I have slain you, as a price for my aid, for I am of noble family. Rage came over Rourke. Then Rage came over Rourke then, and he stepped forward. But even as he moved, a voice spoke in his mind, the voice of Baran on the practice grounds in years gone by. Fight with your anger, Lord, and it will only slay you, surely as though you fell on your sword. He was never sure how long the fight took, and he recalled little of it, save that his shield, which had already been weakened in the previous fighting, split down the middle, and he must fight with the sword alone. They had the advantage by turns, driving each other back along the wall until a slip allowed the other to advance. The end came when Draxon, to avoid a thrust, leaped sideways up into an embrasure. Rourke parried his swing, then thrust, swiftly past Draxon's guard. The Baron stumbled and fell back and fell. A little later, the splash came from below. Rourke turned to find Baran close at hand. How many warriors have we left? We have 100 or so dead, as many badly wounded. But the Dark Ones lost more. The battle is nearly over. Aye, this will be great discouragement for Razik's lords. This will be great discouragement for Razik's lords, I am thinking. Have you seen the prince? Only moments ago he was in the courtyard at the gate, where there is still fighting. Well then, shall we stand here all night while others recover our home for us? And they were away. Rourke had time only to strike 1 or 2 blows for the restoration of his ancestral home, for organized resistance of the Hygerians was at an end. Some fought on stubbornly in corners where they found. Some managed to escape through the gates, and a few even surrendered. Then, with dawn flaming red over the swamp behind them, Rourke found the prince. The red crest was sheared away from Connell's helmet, and the left cheek piece was dented by a blow which, miraculously, had barely scratched his cheek. His sword arm had 2 long gashes in it, and there was a slash across his right knee. There was no doubting that he had been fighting for his kingdom. Beside him was Donnell the Bane, with only 1 small wound on his left cheek. He seemed a more cheerful person than the grim-faced warrior who had come to them at Orden. The prince strode forward to greet Rourke. Ah, Rourke! A battle among battles! We were unavoidably late. We had met with a force of Hygerians at Drick's Ford. They tried to spread out around our flanks, but I divided the horsemen, bent their own flanks back, and marched the infantry through their center when they drew men back to the flanks. I have noticed that their infantry seem better trained, more disciplined in a fight than ever before. I think we have taught them too much. But you came. Aye, we came, but we could not march that same day. But in a few days, I forced the march as much as I dared. We did not camp this evening, and were still far off when the signal went up. And when we have rested, we must begin planning to move over the mountains. That will be difficult, for the pass will be guarded. We can talk of that when we and our men have rested. May I ask hospitality of you, Lord of Aventir? The hospitality of my house is always yours, King of Alisvallen. It was suddenly brought home to Rourke that he was indeed the Lord of Aventir, and not merely heir to a position that another held by right of conquest. I fear that you will find us in some disorder for a few days, but we shall do what we are able. Indeed, without you, I would not be Lord of Aventir. He turned and found Baran. Baran, can you find for me someone able to act as part of Stuart? Someone well able to improvise, I think? It shall be done, my Lord Guardian. And that's the end of that chapter. I don't know. I didn't promise brilliance. I actually prefer, so far I'm preferring the 1977 version, but there's just bits of this that I like that are more refined. 6 of one, half a dozen the other. I don't know. It's good enough. But anyway, it was another short chapter, not as short as yesterday's, but like it was only 4 pages, so really, what can you do with like 4 pages? Having said that, I'm going to sign off for tonight, and I will talk to you all again tomorrow. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you for watching playbacks and everything like that. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're on YouTube, if you're able to do that with live videos. Well, there are videos that are being uploaded, so you can definitely like and subscribe those. For Twitch people, yeah, I guess you can subscribe as well. I'm going to be fairly infrequent, but I'm going to eventually post a schedule. I mean, so far I'm not infrequent. So far it's been every day. But Christmas is coming, so there's going to be time off for that. I'll let you guys know when we get to that point. But until then, I'll talk to you all again tomorrow. Have a good night.